Many of you come to this YouTube channel to watch Star Citizen ship reviews. Indeed, more than half of the overall views over the years have come from those videos. And understandably, many of you also make requests for some of your favourite ships to feature in those reviews. Whilst every effort is made to continue to share new review videos often, sadly, it's not possible to publish as many as would be ideal, and that may be disappointing to some people. So, I thought it might be helpful to explain my process to give a little bit of context as to why that is. I'm Forrester, and if you're here, you're probably aware of what the channel is all about, so this video will specifically give you a little more behind the scenes information behind the Star Citizen ship review process followed for the channel. First of all, the review ship needs to be available in-game, and that's to comment on the actual performance as it is right now. Many people will point out that their favourite ship will be better in the future when armour or multi-crew or flight model changes or whatever else come into place to improve things. That may or may not be the case, but as somebody who has been around for long enough to see substantial changes to some ships, it often feels safer to err on the side of caution and instead present the factual here and now. Accordingly, the starting point for the ship reviews is always current in-game performance, and so a ship review candidate needs to already be flyable in-game. As well as in-game, the ship almost always needs to be available for Alpha aUEC. Those who are familiar with my hangar will know it's not the most expansive, and so most ships will need to be bought in-game. Whilst some other creators may sometimes get early access or giveaway ships, despite regular attempts to get involved in such things, that's not something I have the benefit of. But many of you reach out to offer use of your ships for review purposes, which is incredibly kind and generous, and shows the love that people have for their ships, but also this channel and the review process. Sadly, for the most part, and with a couple of notable exceptions, it isn't enough to simply borrow a ship. And that's because of the level of detail and experience you look for in a ship review here. It takes at least a couple of weeks of flying a ship to make notes good enough to form the basis of a review, and that's usually just not practical to do for a borrowed ship. And that leads into the basis of the review process itself. A couple of weeks flying a ship to get an idea as to the strengths, weaknesses, quirks and foibles, the character of the ship and how it plays in-game. This time involves making copious notes in a little notebook which forms the core of the review itself, as well as capturing a little B-roll footage, particularly external shots, as well as screenshots for the thumbnail which tend to be better when gathered naturally over time through actual gameplay situations. After a couple of weeks of experience in the ship, the next phase is to use the notes to write a draft script for the review video. Usually, most of the video is scripted. Perhaps counterintuitively, it makes the review feel more natural than just speaking off the cuff. Over the years, I've developed a broad template to bring in an element of consistency to the information provided, but that's simply in the form of bullet points of things to cover. Things like, what's the top speed, which are relevant for every review. But the script itself is freeform, written from scratch each time, although some of you have pointed out on Reddit to make me chuckle that there are certainly common mannerisms and phrases that crop up again and again. The one exception to the scripting is usually the ship tour. Just to make the voiceover gel a bit more with the footage, that's recorded as a live voiceover, with key bullet point notes of what to cover off. Afterwards, I transcribe the voiceover back to the script just to have somewhat accurate subtitles for the video itself. After the scripting is done, it usually prompts a checklist of key scenes of footage to capture in-game, things like combat, refueling, handling, as well as anything to showcase that's unique for the ship in question. After all of that, it's time to record the voiceover and put it into Premiere Pro, taking some time to edit out all of the loud breaths and what have you from the audio file. It quickly becomes obvious at this stage if any footage is missing that would improve things, so sometimes that prompts a second footage recording pass. Then some editing, transitions, colour grading, and then it's bundled together and uploaded to YouTube, ready to hit the release schedule. So ordinarily that's about 3 weeks for a ship review, and most of that is the flight time needed to get the experience in the ship before writing the review. Sometimes that can be a bit quicker. For example, if I already have experience of the ship either through flying it before or from PTU, but generally it's important to you and me that I know a little bit about what I'm talking about before publishing a review. Whilst I try to avoid PTU ships for reviews, simply because much can change after a ship gets pushed to live, it can still be useful for getting a good feel for some elements of the ship, such as styling and interior. And those 3 weeks or so to complete the review don't account for all of the other videos I work on for the channel to try and keep sharing 2 videos each week, nor a busy work life and home life too. So, for all of those of you who would like to see more ship reviews, me too! It's really enjoyable to have a reason to fly different ships in the verse, and essentially creates a lot of gameplay for me to fly them, as well as grind the UEC to buy them. But hopefully this little behind the scenes video shows how it takes a little bit of time to pull the review videos together, and what stops me from publishing more often. If I'm not flying the next ship on the review schedule, I'm probably grinding away in-game to afford it. Moreover, judging by your viewing habits on this channel, hopefully many of you feel that the videos are worth the wait when they come out. Regardless, at the risk of going on for too long, I hope you enjoyed this introduction to the Star Citizen ship review process for this channel. I'll assume that if you're watching this, you're probably already subscribed to the channel, so you'll get your notifications when new videos that you might be interested in hit the feed. I hope you'll let me know in the comment section if you found this interesting or not, but otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.